So in part 5 of our tutorial, we're going to link up our little hamburger menu right in here. I'm going to zoom in. We created this in part 2 of our tutorial, and we haven't done anything with it yet. And you'll notice that we don't have any navigation system to get around to our in our site. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a drop-down menu out of this hamburger menu, and we're going to have a list of buttons and options in that drop-down menu. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new board, and I want a board that's smaller than all the others. In fact, I'm going to end up creating a custom size here, but I'm going to go ahead and start with the Apple. Let's go ahead and start with the Apple iPhone X size, and we're going to go ahead and bring this down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of this to drop-down nav. Okay, and the idea is that when you click on the hamburger menu, this will kind of do an overlay right in this area. And I don't think we're going to need it that large, so we'll go ahead and play with the size here in just a minute. But we're going to go ahead and put in all our text and things for it. We're going to go ahead and link up all eight of our different religion description pages, and then we're also going to create a home page. So we'll be able to go back to the very beginning of our piece. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and type in, get our type tool here, and we're just going to type in home. And let's just go ahead and copy the rest of those on down. So we're just going to do an alt click. I'll go ahead and grab our move tool, and then grab alt click, and then drag those down. So we're going to need a few of those. Oops, got a little too alt click crazy here. I'll move this up just a little bit. I'm going to grab all those there. And we're going to center those in our document. And let's see if I can space those. That's not what I want to do. Center those all in that document there. They are centered. Okay. And let's go ahead and space these out. In fact, I probably should have done this as that grid system to make it easier. So let's go back. Turn that into repeat grid. And then drop those down. There we go. Make that a lot easier. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to need more than that to fill this out. So let's go ahead and make our document here just a little bit longer. Bring that down there. And boom. So we have home. We're going to go ahead and rename that one to Christianity. Actually, let's do Judaism first because that's how we started. And then we have Christianity. And we got too big here, so we need to go through and highlight all these bad boys and change that font size. That's really large. I should have known. We don't need them to be that large. Probably like a 24 font or even a 36. It's going to change our whole spacing here, which is okay. We can change that part of our design. Christianity. Go from Christianity to Islam. And then we have Hinduism and Buddhism. And then Confucian. And then Taoism. And then Shinto. Okay, so that's just basically our basic nav here. I want to be able to adjust the spacing here, and I'm not getting the... There we go. Let's adjust that just so they're a little bit tighter in there. Let's go about 5 pixels spacing in between, and then we can go ahead and fix. Our drop down menu there. And I'm just doing something very, very basic, you guys. If you would like to make this a little bit, cleaner or funner, or, add some more design to it, I'm just doing something very, very simple. So the next part of the tutorial here is to make this a drop-down menu in our piece. So what we need to do is drop over to the prototype button over here to the top, and we're going to double-click on our little hamburger menu piece here, and I'm just going to connect it to that little drop-down section. And notice that we have a little bit of an option here. So what I'd like to do is this is going to be a tap, and the action part of this is this is going to be an overlay, and this overlay is going to pop in right about here. In fact, I want it to pop right over the top of that hamburger menu option. Actually, let's go ahead and drop it down, and we can play with this little later on and see. But that's where I want it to be, is that green piece there. And so next, destination drop down. So let's see. We want it to be. I'm going to have to play with this just a little bit, I think. So let's go ahead, and we want to do a slide down is how we want it to go. And we want to slide down from there. Hoping that's the way it works. We're going to give this a shot. And let's see, ease out, duration. Okay, let's see how this works. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and save. And we might have to play around with this just a little bit. Let's see if we did it right. So we're going to go to the desktop preview, click on that, and then click on this button. Boom, there it is. That's what we want to see. So what I want to make sure is, if we click on home, well, we'll have to link that nav button up. I'm not sure if I can get it to go away. We need to figure out a way to do that as well. But that's the idea. So we want that to pop in like that. In fact, I think what I'd like to, I think we'll just pop it in right over the top of that. And so next we need to make sure that we link these buttons, each of these buttons, to those respective places. Let's see if I can do that here. There we go. Double click on that. And so home is going to go back to, home is going back to that place. Uh-oh. Now I'm worried. What is that overlay doing? Let's find out. Let's save. Hoping that this is going to work. Oh, we need to be on this guy. There we go. And then click on home and go back home. It goes back home once we click on it, and that disappears. So we're kind of getting where we need to be. So let's try a different one. Let's go ahead and try Judaism. Double click Judaism, and we're going to drag this to Judaism. Okay. So one of the things we didn't get, we have to, in prototype, we're going to have to do this for all 4 of those, the overlays there. So this is going to get a little tricky. So I'm going to bring that back to there. And that should be the same type of ease there. Yep. And now I want to double check to see if we go here. I don't want this to be an overlay. I just want this to do transition. And none. Let's see if that's how we want this to work. Okay, save, Control Command S. We're going to preview. So click on that. It's going to go to Judaism. Good. If we click on our menu, okay, we got to make sure we position that in the right spot. Oh, I like that. So we need to probably drop that. We need to move the position of that overlay just slightly below that home where it drops down, so that way we can click on and off that piece. So we have to go back to Judaism. Oh, it looks like my images accidentally got deleted. So I'll have to fix that. Okay. So double click on our navigation menu there, and we're going to position that right underneath. Okay. So we need to do that for all of our different links and buttons here in our drop-down menu. So let's just go ahead and go through and do that for all of the hamburger menu options. So we're just going to link that to that. Transition needs to be overlay. We're going to position that right underneath the nav bar there. And let's see, click on that again. And let's see, overlay drop-down animation is going to slide down. Okay. Oops, move that back over again. So we got about 95. Okay. So same thing. I'm just going to do that for all 8. Link that there. And position it there. So for a website, you probably wouldn't want to use a hamburger menu drop down for your nav, but we're just going to go ahead and do it this way. You might want to just actually use a whole nav bar right in that area, although some newer modern websites are tending to use just a drop down menu, like a hamburger menu and this sorts, without having a nav menu pop or have a nav menu stationary in that location. But this was fun to do it this way, so might just take a little bit of extra time. Linking all those bad boys up, making sure my spacing is the same on every page, 95 pixels there, at least on mine. Yours might be just slightly different. Make sure you get all that consistent. You can see those pink numbers pop in. So if you double click on the link there, you can see, click and drag that, make sure all those numbers are consistent. 95. Okay. So then next, come back to my page here, and I've got to go through each one of these. So Christianity would be linked here to my second page, and I need to change this as a transition religion. Yep. And then this is just none at this point. Okay. And then now I can come through and all these will just work as they should. Link all those down. Good. Good. You just zoom out on that. There you go. Starting to look like a little spider web. Okay, so we got our drop-down menu, and if you haven't done it already, you're going to need to come in with your buttons over here and do the same. So you're going to link that Christianity button there. You're going to link Islam there. And make sure you link these all to the right pages. If you haven't done that already, also start changing the titles of your pages on your board here so you don't get confused. So Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, spacebar to move. There we go. And then Buddhism. Confucian. Tao. And then Shinto. Okay, now let's see, let's go back. So I got Hinduism linked up correctly. So Buddhism. Confucianism. Tao. and Shinto. Okay, let's see where we're at. Let's test it. And actually, we need to, yep, that one's linked up. Okay, so we're going to start with our splash page here with our test. So we're going to go ahead and preview. And there we go. And I need to make this page better. I think I'll save that for one of our last tutorials. And click on that. So there's all of our links here. In fact, I don't have these linked up, our Facebook or any of our social media pieces, but that's okay. We'll just leave that for now. So let's go ahead and try our button here. Click on that. That takes us to where we need to go. If we need to go back home, that drops down and we can hit home. Now it's bringing it in as an overlay. That's not what I want. So now I need to go see what the deal is there. Double click on that. Oh, let me see. Home. Where's my home link? Zoom in. Maybe this was my bad. Click on, that's what it is. So make sure with my home link, I didn't change this from overlay. That just needs to be transition and then none. Okay, let's go ahead and save that again. Go back to that, our entry, our splash page, and then click play. Click there. Okay, let's try this. Let's go to Christianity. Okay, and then click on our boom, click on home, and it takes us back home. Bingo, that's what I need. Let's double check this and to see all these work. Shinto, and you won't see those changes yet because obviously we haven't put any content in there. Judaism. Okay, one last thing. I think in our last tutorial we did this. So I'm just going to go back and fix that real quick. So I have Judaism. I'm just going to go and open up my folder with my World Religions project in my images file and Judaism. I'm just going to grab all of those pictures again and move my cursor up here, my thing, and just grab that, drop in the first box there, and it should fill out all of those images for me. And then don't forget when you, don't forget that when you put these images in here, what it's going to do, if these images are larger than your boxes that you have placed for it, it will automatically position them. And sometimes it does a great job. But say like you want to mess with this one a little bit, you want to bring it down, you can, although that one looks pretty good there. So let's go ahead and get out of that. Let's double check this one. So maybe you want a little bit more. That's actually pretty good. So it all did a pretty good job auto placing all those. But if you need to, if you want to move it up or down to showcase a part of the image that you want it to do, you just have to double click inside of that image. Okay. So don't forget to fill out the rest of your images for the rest of these pieces on your page. Test it out to make sure they work. So for now we have pretty much our functioning website. From here on my design, I think I'd like to maybe make some small changes to my overall design. I need to add something to our splash page, but I think what I need to do is to design that. So I'm going to design something in Photoshop and then save that and bring that into like a really nice large graphic to go in there. And I can always come in and change my color scheme a little bit if I want to with my header. I don't have a logo or anything in there either. So I might work on that and then bring that in my next tutorial.